Hey, I'm Airlift, and once again, I'm standing outside my hotel in the daylight, waiting on my Uber to take me over for a tour. It's called Secret Food Tour. You know, I love to eat, so this is what is about to happen. So I'm gonna take you on this journey with me. Wait for it. Let's get it.
Do the food tours in European countries where we run also a food tour, and yeah, this
Let's get another perspective on how the guy's
exactly.
doing.
Yeah, to get inspiration.
This is insane.
It was not the secret food tour, right?
I think it was.
Yeah.
It may not have been, but
Okay, because we run the one there. Did you do the one in Paris and Montmartre? It's called soupli. That's basically fried. It's like back then it was a poor man's food where they took all the leftovers, put them together and deep fried them. Basic economic center in terms of industrialization and so on. Yeah, because there was the connection, and so it's very flat, and this is why people love to use their bike here as well.
Curry and
All right, so this is these are two different versions of serving it, right? So this one is the East Berliner version, and this one is the West one.
okay.
So you see, obviously they differ from each other in terms of the sauce they use. They didn't have ketchup in the East, so they basically created an alternative product to ketchup, which was made out of tomato concentrate, and basically a homemade tomato curry sauce is on the East one, and ketchup on the West one. The sausage itself is different on the East. It's a pure pork sausage without the skin, without the casing. And in Berlin you will always get with or without skin. Without skin is always the former East version. They had a scarcity of casing for the bratwurst in the last years of the communist regime, because they sold casing for the sausages to West Germany or West Berlin, and internally had a scarcity. This is why they served the bratwurst without the casing and had a batter. It's basically a batter which surrounds the sausage here. And the other one is a beef pork mixed sausage. And the most iconic street food snack we have here. And please guys, give it a try, and then maybe tell me what you think, and maybe have a preferred one. Take a pic. Block the land and waterways to West Berlin in order to military strategically suffocate
The city.
exactly the West German occupation zones, and as a new starting point of an era of Cold War. This is where it really intensified the Cold War conflict, and so no food in this time period could get on a land and waterway to West Berlin anymore. There was a city of goods anyway, right after the war, the whole city in rubble, the people starving and traumatized by the war, and then also soldiers in these 3 occupation zones in West Berlin didn't get anymore on a land and waterway. So they had to figure out a solution for that, and the solution was the Berliner Airlift. I don't know if you ever heard about that.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was that mainly British and American planes
like the West.
were bringing in all kinds of commodities and food from West German airports, flying over parts of East Germany or East Berlin, and then landing here in the famous airport in Tempelhof, which is now an empty recreational park area, actually, with urban gardening projects on it, where people in the summertime do.
So what is this area?
Day evening. This area is basically nowadays we call it raw area or RAW area, or sometimes also called raw temple.
artist, very artsy.
Yeah, it's basically a little, you can say, countercultural microcosmos. I will stop you just in a few minutes and then give you some general info about this place here, because it has a quite long history, and I don't know where these mountains of trash come from.
I'm just gonna say, is that
because
is that
I went here yesterday evening and they were not there yet.
So
That's weird. Expressionistic art.
expressing, recycling.
Yeah. Upcycling. It's all about upcycling here. The song you selected is blasting inside. There's a little disco bowl on the ceiling. There's a smoke machine on the ceiling, and the photo and video, you have different light effects you can choose. And yeah, probably the smallest dance floor of Berlin. So just give you an idea.
Okay, that's fun.
So this is the smoke machine. They print out a little photo story on the right of you, for you. If you decide to giving old things a new meaning. This is basically what the area is about here.
Did he like put them around the city? Or?
Not just the town of the currywurst, it's the town of the kebabs also. And we have, in terms of the Turkish kebab shops, the doner kebab shops, we have more kind of city than they have in Istanbul actually. And Turkish people by far the biggest migrant group. And I mentioned it earlier, we have the biggest Turkish community living outside of Turkey here in Berlin. Had something to do with what they call guest worker recruitment.
That's what I was going to ask. How was it
After the Second World War, so it's obviously had something to do with the migration history to Germany.
Yeah, you can see his
Marinated
fillets.
chicken fillets, and also there are four kinds of different sauces in the sandwich. One is a bit more spicy sauce called harissa. In combination with the other three, it's not really that spicy. And the second one is called amba, and it's basically a mango chutney condiment kind of sauce. So mango puree, vinegar, and turmeric. That's what it consists of. The third one is a sesame yogurt sauce, and the last you can say an Arabic version of an aioli. So homemade Arabic garlic sauce actually. And they are all in this with some lettuce, cucumber, tomato, and some parsley salad, basically tabbouleh, right?
Tabbouleh,
Yeah, just parsley, some couscous, onions, and tomatoes. That's basically it. So yeah, guys, give it a try. Here also, I will get maybe some bread for the hummus if you want to try.
Sure.
This is hummus. The Arabic version of hummus here has a lot more cumin in it than actually Israeli hummus, for example. That's a big difference. I know it's not the smallest snack. Yeah, he will not be mad at you if you don't finish everything, right? But if you're hungry and because it's tasty, please give it. Yeah. Very good.
I'm sure we'll eat dinner anyway.
So tender.
It has a crust. It's a crust. Like one of the dishes has like a crust to it.
We have a lot of great restaurants near us that does this with it.
I mean, yeah, shawarma, the Arabic term, just means to turn around or to spin. Like doner in Turkish, doner means to spin or to turn around, and gyros in Greek means to spin or to turn around. So all referring actually to the preparation of the meat on a skewer or on a stick.
So nothing for you yet, or
I eat
you gonna
hummus.
indulge with this? Good.
Yeah. I always also eat a big breakfast before I start the tours, before I leave the house, you know. So it's no problem for me to watch you eat.
It's a shame when you find something that's really good when you go home you can't find it.
Like immigrant, do you have a...
Let's do a place in London to eat Indian food because that's the best. Even though it's a huge Indian population near us, he goes, no, the food here is okay. No. But you can really eat any culture, any night of the week you want.
Yeah.
We just had Korean barbecue, we had Indian, Italian, Greek, for good name. You have every
Awesome.
type of cuisine.
The area we live in does have quite a number of different types of restaurants.
I like this. Not sweet.
Yeah, it's all only organic ingredients and this stuff like from local producers here in Berlin, you know. So people nowadays purposefully would rather buy this local stuff, you know, kind of support the local businesses here than go for big corporation stuff.
That's what we do. Support the local businesses.
And yeah, they're sweet, you know, all of them. They have a lot of different. They have an apple one, a lemon one, a rhubarb one, which I like the most actually. It's pretty nice. It's pretty weird, rhubarb lemonade, but it's really good actually. Yeah, it's very popular. During the 80s, early 90s,
sandwich
Lebanese led the initiatives, grassroots organizations, and mainly non-governmental organizations who helped
Trying to take care of them.
exactly helped the new coming people and showed solidarity with them. On the other hand, you had a new uprising of neo-Nazi movements and the more ugly face of Germany.
They want to
neo-Nazi
keep
movements
the purity, and
huge
they don't want to
uprising right-wing movement, and they are quite successful and getting more and more successful in some areas of Germany, and so that we have the first right-wing party in the parliament since Hitler actually. They're the third largest force in the parliament.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, the quality of right-wing because a lot of people put a lot of money in this party. You know, you had problems already in the early 90s with neo-Nazis in some areas of East Germany, but there was nothing like an ideological basis. It was just like more or less like followers and disenfranchised youth in a way, you know. Now it's like an intellectual right-wing elite which has close ties to the lobbies, to the industry, and with a lot of money, like CEOs of pharmaceutical companies are in this new right-wing party. So yeah,
Everyone's supporting.
even different quality of right-wing, I would say, than we had it in the early 90s. For the size of this one, it's quite small, little family-run business. And what they do here is actually in this copper vessel, they first caramelize cane sugar, and then they add different types of nuts and seeds to it, and roast the nuts and seeds, caramelize them, and then add some cinnamon, some vanilla, some sesame seeds to it. And then you have this very nice and almost addictive nut and seed selection, which I want to give you to try. And also some baklava they do here, I want to give you to try. And you guys are not allergic to any kind of nut or seed would be the right moment to tell me now?
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, you probably had some. There's
Okay.
Arabic baklava mainly done with walnuts and yeah, here pistachio and peanuts and these layers of phyllo. And I like this one because it's not so crazily over sweet and soggy. Sometimes baklava can be a bit too soggy and too sweet for me, you know. And
Has
it's
a lot of
dripping.
honey in it sometimes.
Yeah.
Honey syrup.
But it's an actual good balance between the pastry and the nut flavor, and it's a very addictive.
It's really good.
You liking it? Yeah. Hallo.
Honey, nuts. Tastes like a flaky peanut brittle.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just maybe try some of this. You guys wanna maybe
This tastes like a Boston baked bean, but pretty good.
This is a small group. Like
How
I
many
said,
is your-
yesterday I came here with 20 people.
Whoa.
Normally we make maximum 10. This was a corporation event, so sometimes we do like 30, 40 people. Lager. We call it Dunkel, Dunkel, Dunkel. It's yeah, a dark lager with just some roasted barley, some hops and water. There's nothing else than hops, water, and barley in the beer. It's brewed according to a very old purity law we have here in Germany, beer purity law, which dates back actually to 1516 already in the Bavarian kingdom. And an archduke back then introduced the law and said that beer can only be brewed with 3 ingredients. At that time, they didn't, couldn't scientifically assess yeast microorganisms, so it was not listed on there. Was also a lot of fermentation was done by natural occurring airborne yeast cultures.
That's just the hops or the grains that they're using.
Yeah, and the Archduke said, okay, you guys, the brewers have to use barley for the brewing process because wheat and rye, the other common grains in Germany, were reserved for bakers to bake the bread with. And
To feed people, yeah.
yeah, and to ensure affordable bread prices actually in times of scarcity and or bad harvest and so on, they said, okay, brewers, you take the barley for your beer and the rest goes to the bakers. So in its original function, the purity law in Germany for the beer purity law was a food security law actually from 1516, still in effect actually, because it later on was translated into a beer taxation law in a way that your beer was only be legally considered a beer if you brewed it according to the purity law. If you would have put fruits in it or herbs like they did in other beer nations like United States, Belgium or
Like
UK,
grapefruit juice or
then it would
or-
not be considered a beer anymore. It would have become a luxury good because beer is considered by this tax laws is considered a staple food in Germany for brewers. So it says a lot about our culture, I think. Purity law, you know. Cheers, guys. Cheers. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Cheers. And so it was, it was never lucrative in Germany to.
Smooth.
Yeah, it is smooth. It's not dark beer. When I offer people dark beer,
It looks like a dark beer.
Yeah, they always have the stouty kind of heavy, like a preconceived notion of it.
They
but-
do, or they keep the beer at a certain temperature, or is
yeah,
it,
it's served chilled, yeah. And it's also just the difference between lagers and, for example, like ales of any kind. IPA, stout is an ale technically. Pale ales, whatever. Mainly you have it in the States, is mainly an ale. Yeah, this flammkuchen here, please. Maybe, we can pass around some of the plates and
So I'm assuming this is flatbread.
yeah, it's
Some
some
sort.
flatbread pizza in a way, you could say. And maybe you guys can pass around some of the napkins. And
restrooms right here?
yeah, exactly. That's straight ahead.
So there's like a bacon on it or a ham.
Then cheese, onions, and schmand, we call it. Is a
Like
fatty sour cream. And please guys, give it a try and then tell me what you think. The history of this dish is actually quite interesting also because it indirectly had something to do with the post-war occupation. With the fact that basically many women, you have to say, were baking bread in wooden burning ovens back then in these regions in the southwest. And before they were baking bread, they first put a thin layer of bread dough inside of the oven to test the heat
Oh,
of
to see if it's
the
hot
wooden
enough to do
burning
it,
oven.
yeah.
Exactly, and if the thin layer of bread dough was brown and had good color and was crispy after several minutes, they knew now the oven has the right temperature
hot
to bake the
enough, yeah.
bread. So it was a test cake historically. And then they didn't want to waste this thin layer of bread dough, so they topped it with different ingredients. And that's the traditional version. You will have it in
Okay.
veggie ones and sweet versions.
Oh, they put sweets on
Yeah,
it
there,
also.
for example, like the popular thing is apple slices and the cinnamon sauce on top on this like dough. This schmand, this fatty sour cream, can also be used for sweets or
You
for
can-
cakes, for example.
Okay.
In some parts of Germany, they do a cinnamon or Zimt-Schmandkuchen, it's called. It's like a cinnamon schmand cake. It has a sour, sweet flavor to it, and it works pretty well actually. And ricotta cheese plum topping is popular, And it's simply a simple and
Good
easy
combination,
combination good combination of flavors.
The flavors.
So this gets its name from the fact
Like a
that
pizza.
flammkuchen flame cake was put into the flames of wooden burning ovens to test the heat of them before baking bread. This is where it gets the name from, flammkuchen. And these are this apple cinnamon dumplings here. Like I mentioned, basically the Apfelstrudel in a dumpling version. They make them like this. They first crumble butter cookies and then they soak these crumbled butter cookies in milk. Add chopped grated apples, some egg yolks to it, some butter, cinnamon, sugar, form balls with the whole thing, and then deep fry this balls and roll it afterwards in a cinnamon and sugar mix, and then serve it with this vanilla ice cream, some whipped cream, some fruits, and the pumpkin seed oil on top.
Ich wollte mal wissen, damit mal im Elb.
Also, seid ihr auch eigentlich?
Wir haben erst Mittwoch eine Versammlung, also die sind noch nicht, du bist keiner da.
Ach so.
Also ich denke mal, also sonst hat man immer bis abends offen, aber
Ja. You guys can give me your brochure. I will write down
and confuse you a bit more with recommendations. So
It's like an apple bread pudding.
Is it really?
yeah,
Like a bread pudding.
okay. Apple bread pudding.
It's like a bread pudding with apples and deep fried bread pudding.
Kind of, yeah, bread pudding.
Very good.
And where you guys stay?
Here we are at the end of the secret food tour. I have Alex, who is my tour guide, an awesome guy, very informative. Please, when you're in Berlin, secret food tour is what you need to experience. We love you. We'll see you.
Yes. Peace out.